Hello everyone and welcome back to Freedom Through Confidence. My name is Ben, and in this video today I want to talk to you about how to completely control your emotions, because I know that this is a question that a lot of people are very interested in. Even going back just a few years, I know that this is something that I did a lot of research into, because at the time I found all of my emotions that were completely out of my control to be very problematic. And I felt like most of my problems were caused by not having complete control over my emotions. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about what I learned when I was researching how to completely control your emotions. And ultimately, what I found out when it comes to your emotions is that, rather annoyingly, we are not in control of them. In fact, we will likely never be in control of our emotions any more than you can be in control of whether you feel tired or whether you feel hungry. But much like those feelings of being tired or feelings of being hungry, you can reduce them by taking the right action. So if you're hungry, then you eat something and that feeling of hunger, generally speaking, goes away. If you are tired, then you go and you have a nap or you go to sleep, and again, generally that feeling of being tired goes away, of course barring any kind of chronic exhaustion issues. So then what do we do to keep our emotions under control? So if we can control our hunger by eating, or if you can control our tiredness by sleeping, what's the equivalent of that for emotions? Well, the equivalent of that for emotions is acceptance. And yes, I know that sounds horrendously vague, so let me go into it a little bit more. So let's take being angry, for example. Anger is one of those negative emotions. It's one of the ones that everyone wants to get rid of, even though anger itself serves a very important purpose. And that's something that I'm going to make mention of right now, is that every single one of your emotions is there for a reason. And even if it seems illogical to you consciously, unconsciously, there is a very good reason for the way you feel about pretty much anything. So with anger, as I'm sure you know, if you just try to ignore it, if you just try to pack it down, if you just try to kind of put it in a box and lock it and throw away the key, what happens quickly over time is that you become more and more angry, and then eventually something happens. It might be a small thing, it might be a big thing, and you kind of flip out in anger and bad things happen. You might say something that you didn't mean, or you might do something that you wouldn't normally do if you hadn't lost control of your anger completely. So how do we actually prevent something like this happen? How do we reduce the volatility of our emotions? Well, it's through acceptance. Accepting, in this case with anger, that is a part of you, and that it is there for a logical reason, even if you don't see what that reason is. Historically, anger was associated with your fight or flight response. It gave you energy and it gave you strength if you needed to attack or if you needed to defend. So if you're feeling angry, then maybe unconsciously in some way you feel attacked, or you feel the need to defend yourself or your values, your beliefs in some kind of way. And you don't even have to understand the reason why you're angry, or why you're sad, or why you're happy, or why you're lonely, or anything like that. You don't have to understand the reason why, but you do have to accept the effects of that cause. So the cause is unknown, but the effect we do know. The effect is the emotion that you're feeling, and you gain control over those emotions when you accept them simply as they are. You accept that right now, yes, I'm angry, or yes, right now I'm sad, or yes, right now I'm happy. Acceptance is so very important, because if you deny your emotions, you're ultimately denying a part of yourself. If you think about it as if each emotion is a separate person living within you, and when that person gets completely ignored, over time they might try to do more and more things to get your attention, or they might just become a danger to yourself. If your emotions do get out of control, they can sometimes be a danger to you or other people around you, which is why it's so important to accept your emotions, not necessarily to act on them, because sometimes your emotions are going to tell you to do things that are going to have bad consequences. For example, somebody cuts you up in traffic and your anger tells you to go and get a crowbar out the back of the car and beat their heads in. Now, you can accept that you're angry. You can take a moment to be present with that feeling of anger and to hear what it wants to say. It doesn't mean that you have to go and get the crowbar out the back of the car and beat the person's head in. Like, that's not what you have to do, but you do have to accept that your anger is there and that it's there for a reason. It's there to protect you, or your sadness is there for a reason. Your happiness is there for a reason. All of it has a reason, even if we don't fully understand what that reasoning is. So can we eventually completely control our emotions 100%? No. Our emotions are outside of our conscious control. Most of the reasoning is within our unconscious mind. So all we can do is simply accept that it is there as a fact of life. We don't have to act on every single emotion. We don't even have to like them all. But they are there, and you do have to treat them with the same compassion and the same love as you treat every other part of yourself. Now, some of you might be confused why I've just said you don't even have to like your emotions, but you do have to love them in the same way as it might be with your family. For example, I come from a big family and I love every single member of my family, but sometimes I don't like them. And I'm sure everyone can relate to that. Like, sometimes my little brother will do something that I won't agree with and I won't like that, and for a little while I might not even like him. It wouldn't stop me from going and helping him if he needed me. All of that would get put aside because I love him. I love him a lot, but sometimes, you know, I don't like him. You get what I mean. Of course, Isaac, if you're watching this right now, I do love you a lot, and right now I like you a lot as well, so don't even worry about that. Same way with your emotions, you don't always have to like them, but you do have to love yourself, because your emotions are a part of you, and not accepting your emotions as a part of yourself is about as useful as not accepting, you know, that you've got a right arm, because it is a part of you. So I hope that all makes sense. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have done, make sure to leave a like on the video and let me know what your thoughts and feelings are in the comment section down below. Of course, make sure that you subscribe to the channel for more content like this on a regular basis. Thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos very soon.